Hello and thanks for watching Best Maths Tutors. I'm continuing to look at the Edexcel GCSE Maths Higher Tier Paper 1 from May 2020. And this is question 12 and it's a question about cumulative frequency. So it says in the question that the information given is about the weekly wages of 80 people. And we can see we've got this, this table here, frequency table, which shows us that between 200 and £250 a week, we had a frequency of 5. Between 250 and 300 wages per week, we had a frequency of 10, etc. Between £300 and £350 was 20 people in the of the 80 that wage. And what we've got to do from this, we've got to complete a cumulative frequency table. The cumulative frequency is basically the running total as we go along. So the first value is always the same, so that's going to be 5. But then what we're looking at is how many were between 200, or got a wage rather, between 200 and £300 per week. So that would be this value plus this value, because the number between 200 and 300 is actually those that were between 200 and 250 in this group and 250 and 300 in this group. So if we add those two values together, we're going to get 15. The next one is 200 to 350, and for that we can actually add the 20 here onto the previous total. So the previous total being 15. If we add that on, we now get 35. So we can see we get that by adding up these first three rows, and we continue like that. So the next one we can add another 20 on to the 35 we've already got, so that's 55. Then we add 15 onto that, so 15 plus 55 will give us 70. And then finally we're going to add this 10, and if we add 10 onto 70, then we're going to get 80. What we have to do now is draw a cumulative frequency graph for the completed table, so for this data. And the important thing when we're doing this is we plot this value that's in the cumulative frequency not against the mid value, the midpoint of the group, but against the upper value for the group. So that would go against the 250. So we can see that at 250 here we've got a cumulative frequency of 5, so that point goes there. The next group, 200 to 300, the cumulative frequency had risen to 15. So that goes against the upper boundary there, which is the 300. So we can write that on, or put a cross there at that point. This 35 then goes with the 350, and then we're on the 55 and 400. Then we look at the 70 and the 450. Then we look at the 80 and the 500. And finally what we can do is we can say, well, since there are no values below the 200 here, at 200 we can put 0. And to complete this graph, what we then need to do is just join up the points together as best as we can. So a nice smooth curve, which is quite difficult using a graphics tablet that I'm using. So I'm sure it'd be a lot easier with a pen and paper. So there we go. So we get this sort of classic S shape for our graph. And now we've got to answer a question on this. So Juan says that 60% of this group of people have a weekly wage of 360 or less. First of all, we need to work out where is the 60% point. So we've got a total frequency of 80. So we need to find out what 60% of 80 is. Since we're on the non-calculator, what we could do is we could find 10% of 80 first. So 10% would equal, and just moving the decimal point one place there, dividing by 10, which would give us 8. And that would mean that then we could find 60% by times in the 8 by 6, because we'd times 10 by 6 to get to 60. So we times that by 6, we find that that's 48. We go to the frequency of 48 on the vertical axis there. So I'm finding 48, which would be there. And I read across like this, which is supposed to give me a straight line. There we go. And then I'm going to read down. So there we go. And if we read across from here to see where this has actually cut the horizontal axis, we can find that value and find out what do 60% of people earn less than. So if we read across, we're going in tens. Two of these small squares is 10. So 360, 370, 380. So that's going to be 385 there. So 385. So in fact, 60% of people have a weekly wage of £385 or less. So one is actually wrong. It's not 360, it's 385 that 60% of people earn less than. To get the full marks, we actually just need to put that in as a statement. So we can actually say that one is wrong because 60% of the group actually earn less than £385, not the £360 which he said. And that would be enough to give us all the marks to the question. So I hope that's been helpful, and if it has, please consider giving us a thumbs up for the video and also subscribing to our channel. Thanks for watching.